Is that right?
That's
Okay. See, we got sound now, everything. The silence, sound. Okay. Okay. Anyway, the reason we had that big shot of all of the Confederates together is because Tom Berenger wanted a souvenir. Lo and behold, okay, can we get the, oh, beautiful. Let's give it to Ricky, all right?
Yeah, give it
I'll
to
take
me.
it. All right. This shot is because Tom Berenger, who was over here, I knew this would come. How would you glad you're not in the front row?
Go ahead, question his pointer.
Tom Berenger there, Jen Longstreet there. Notice the two actors who do not have a hat on, General Lee and General Hill. Okay, but I just wanted to say that Tom Berenger wanted the souvenir. So there was a photographer there, Claude Levitt, who specialized in Civil War photography. So Tom wanted the souvenir, so he got the picture of all of us together. A couple of weeks later, Ron Maxwell sees the photograph and he said, "This is marvelous. We're going to use it in the film." So that's the reason why the next slide, thank you, you have the Union soldiers all together, all the actors there from the Union High Command. So that was used in the beginning of the film. I mean, you can see certain people in there. You can see Ken Burns right here.
Yeah, I'm right behind Ken.
All right, so like I said, that's the Union High Command. So next slide, please. Okay, how many people like Jeff Daniels as Chamberlain? Wasn't he great in that? I tell you, magnificent. Now I'll tell you how he got the role. Now, I'm in Joy Todd's office and they're trying to think who's going to play Chamberlain. Well, back in the day when they had the VCRs and the video cassettes and everything, there was terms of endearment. Did you see that movie? Ron Maxwell takes that tape home and he looks at it and he thinks, oh, Jeff Daniels. So Jeff Daniels ends up getting the role of Chamberlain. Now, I did the research for practically all the actors because I had to provide research and I would receive phone calls from a lot of the actors to pick my brain. And some actors wanted to do their own research from a lot of the stuff that I sent them. What happened was that early in 1992, around springtime, Jeff Daniels decides to go up to Maine, the Chamberlain home there in Bowdoin College in Brunswick, Maine. So he goes up there, and back in the day, you had to make an appointment. You had to make an appointment. See, now everybody wants to go there because it's the movie and everything. But back in the day, you had to make an appointment. So it's a hot day. So he goes up there unannounced. He's wearing a Hawaiian shirt and Bermuda shorts. So he goes up to the front door and he starts knocking on the door. They open the door. Hi, I'm an actor, Jeff Daniels, and I've been asked to portray Joshua Chamberlain in a movie called The Killer Angels. Can I come in? No, you can't. They slammed the door on him. First impressions, ladies and gentlemen, first impressions. So finally, they warmed up. He ended up going in there and he did his research and he was magnificent. The reenactors loved him so much that many times that he would have to review the troops. But he's a great actor. And the only thing is that after we filmed The Killer Angels, what movie did it make?
Dumb and Dumber.
Oh, how quickly the knife pierces the heart. Dumb and Dumber. But you got to give him some slack, though. Really, the reason is because he has his own theater company in Michigan, and you know all the actors took a big cut in their salaries to make the Killer Angels. But you got to give him some slack. So you know he does a magnificent. He was on Broadway a few years ago with To Kill a Mockingbird. Great actor, Jeff Daniels. Next slide, please. Sam Elliott. How many people love Sam Elliott? Yeah. And Buford. Now, Sam loves the Civil War. He loves preservation. And let me tell you something about Sam. He's into this so much that, you know, he does so many Westerns. And he knew exactly what a cavalryman would be like riding a horse. Mile after mile in the dirt and the wind and the rain and everything. And you know what happens? your jacket is going to get dirty. Well, there's one particular scene, if you know, where he talks to his men about what's going to happen. He sees the future. What's going to happen after the battle? Where men in tall hats and gold chains will thump their chest and talk about it. Well, before the scene, Sam decides, wait a minute. He looks at his uniform. It's too clean. So what he did was he took that jacket off and he dragged it through the dirt back and forth, back and forth. So when the time came to shoot that scene, he put the jacket on, and when men in tall hats and gold chains thumped their chest, and you know what, the dirt comes off? That's because of Sam. That's because of Sam. He knew exactly. But I got to tell you this. He wanted to get into the character of General Buford so much that, are you familiar with Bud Hall? Bud Hall is probably the leading authority of the Battle of Brandy Station. He knows character. He knows that battle. General Buford, he was in that battle. So prior to the filming, Sam Elliott gets a hold of Bud Hall and they go to Brandy Station battlefield. Now, Sam wants to know exactly the exact place where General Buford stood during that battle. I mean, how many people have been to the Battle of Gettysburg? Practically everybody here. Do you think you know exactly where somebody stood during the 3 days of battle? No, but Sam wanted to know exactly where General Buford. So Sam and Bud are there together. And says, where is General Buford? Right over there. Right there. So Sam goes over here. Here? And Bud says, no, 2 feet over, 2 feet over. Like he knows exactly where, but you got to do this to Sam. So Sam is right over here. Here? Yes. Okay, here we go. Got it. Let's go. So he got into the mind of General Buford right there at the Battle of Brandy Station. But Sam is magnificent. What a great actor. I worked with him on another movie called Rough Riders. How many people saw Rough Riders? I'm in that throughout the whole movie. Most people don't even recognize it because they expect the A.P. Hill look. But being that he did it off so well on this film that Tom Berenger said to me, I'm going to make Rough Riders and I want you to be a Rough Rider. But you got to shave your beard and cut your hair really short. If you want, you can have the mustache. So I'm in. So what happened was that if you want to see me, ladies and gentlemen, in Rough Riders, you look for Groucho Marx on horseback. That's what I'm saying. Okay? I got to tell you a story about Sam. Just a quick one. How many people are familiar with the Cashtown Inn? Yeah. Okay. My wife and I have stayed in A.P. Hill's room, which is technically haunted, but we haven't seen anybody. We've been to the suite, the Robert E. Lee suite. That's where Sam stayed during the filming, the Robert E. Lee suite. Now then, I got to tell you this. We knew back in the day, Bud and Carol, who owned the inn. And so, Sam stayed there, and the Buckleys, they had, cleaning people come in and so forth. So when Sam was done with all his filming and everything, he goes home. Well, somehow, some way, somebody stole the sheets that Sam Elliott slept in. Who knows what happened to those sheets? Did somebody have it at home? Did they cut it up in pieces and make little gifts on those sheets? Who knows? But to this day, nobody knows what happened to the sheets that Sam Elliott slept in. But it's magnificent. Next slide, please. Lo and behold, Cashtown Inn scene. Originally, I was supposed to be on horseback. Why? Because if you read The Killer Angels, this particular scene, A.P. Hill's on horseback, and he's with General Lee. And matter of fact, the reason it was used at the Cashtown because prior to the filming, Michael Shara and Ron Maxwell used to meet at the Cashtown Inn. Matter of fact, Michael Shara died in 1988, and Ron decided that this movie will eventually be dedicated to the memory of Michael Shara, and they decided that a scene has to be filmed right here in front of the inn. And if you're familiar with Dale Gallen, who did this Serious Work Ahead, so that's why, so much for all my horseback riding lessons. So when I get on the set, oh, we're not doing that scene, we're doing it this way. Okay, So then that's the scene taken from the painting where General Hill comes out and he meets General Lee and they discuss the situation. Now, next slide, and I'll explain something to you. There I am coming out, meeting General Lee, Martin Sheen, okay? And so what happened was that we really do have lines. People say, you didn't have any lines. Yes, we did, because Ron Maxwell shot this from two different angles. First, you got to think about this. We wanted this to look like 1863. So if you go to the cash down today, it's not going to look like 1863. So what we had to do early that morning, we put several tons of dirt on the road. I had to take the air conditioners out of the windows. All the plaques that are around, cover them up. And so shooting from a different angle, you don't get the wires or anything like that. So what happened was that, and Ron has the music playing from the band going by. So there's actually lines, whereas General Lee goes to General Hill. General, what artillery is that? And General Hill goes, I don't know, General. I'm waiting to hear from General Heath. I haven't heard him back from Gettysburg yet. So that's basically our lines, but you can see our lips move and everything, but you're not going to hear us. The reason is that the band is playing, so Ron shot it from two different angles. And one of the reasons is because he wanted people to see the bare feet of the soldiers going by during the march past Cashtown to Gettysburg. Next slide, please. Here we go. Me and Martin Sheen. How many people like Martin Sheen as General Lee? Okay, let me tell you. Martin was not the first one chosen. Remember, if this movie had been made in 1980, who would have been General Lee?
Charlton Heston.
Oh, good. You're awake. Okay, remember. Yes, Charlton Heston. Now then, if this movie had been made in 1990, Robert E. Lee would have been portrayed by Robert Duvall. It's a done deal. Well, as I said earlier, things just fell apart and no filming. 1991, if this movie had been made, Robert Duvall still would have been Robert E. Lee. Well, we're finally getting ready to film in 1992, and Robert Duvall doesn't want to do it. Why? Because it's a TNT production. It's going to be on television, and Robert Duvall just did two major TV films. One was Stalin, the HBO, and the other one was Lonesome Dove, CBS, okay? So he doesn't want to deal with TV anymore. So let me give you the rundown, and you tell me what you think about these people. All right, I'm in Joy Todd's office, the casting director with Ron Maxwell, and here are some names. Say yes or no. You ready? Paul Newman. They wanted him so bad, they went after him another time, a week later. And what does Paul Newman say? Obviously, no. Okay, because he doesn't do TV. He's a big movie star. So Paul Newman says no. Here we go. Tell me yes or no. These are the actors that went after. James Gardner. Maverick, huh? No Maverick. All right. John Boyd, Midnight Cowboy. No good, huh? All right. Richard Harris, the great Irish actor. Now, he was recommended by Tom Berenger. Matter of fact, they worked together on a movie called The Field. But he actually turned it down after he was offered because he figured, what's this Irishman going to be doing portraying a great American icon? Okay, now we started filming July. All right, mid-July we started filming, and now here we are around May. You know, we're talking about Memorial Day weekend, and we still don't have a Robert E. Lee. So, who do they go after? Tell me yes or no. George C. Scott.
No.
Well, you know what he said? I've already played my General Patton, right? Okay, then they go after Martin Sheen. And what does he say? You're wrong. He says no. He has happened to be in a play being directed by George C. Scott at the time. He said no. Why? Because number one, Martin had not been on a horse in 11 years. He knew what it would be like in Gettysburg in the summertime, and he knew he'd be wearing wool, a beard, and a wig. He said no. Well, A week later, he calls back. He said, yes. The reason is because his wife and his manager convinced him to take it. Because after rereading the book, The Killer Angels, and rereading the screenplay, it seems that this would be a good teaching tool, because The Killer Angels is used at the United States Military Academy at West Point and other military institutions around the country. So if by some chance this movie's a success, Martin Sheen's performance would shine as General Lee, and maybe young people in high schools and colleges would view the film and hopefully, learn something from American history. So that's what Martin decided. So you see, my job prior to all this was to provide the research. Well, being that Martin was one of the very last ones, I gave all the Robert E. Lee stuff to Tom Berenger, and Tom Berenger brought Martin Sheen under his wing. Basically, give him a crash course on Robert E. Lee. And one thing else you got to remember, ladies and gentlemen, Martin Sheen is dyslexic. So it's going to take time for him to learn his lines, and he was one of the last actors chosen for the filming. Next. Oh, here we go. You know the scene in the movie where General Longstreet and General Lee are riding side by side, and they talk about the old days in Mexico when all the soldiers were Americans fighting for one cause all together? Well, this film, this scene here was filmed on the actual battlefield. Remember I told you 26 days we were filmed on the battlefield? Well, this one happened to be shot on the battlefield itself. And the section of the battlefield, there was a little house there that the Rangers would use. And on the side of the house, there'd be a phone so the Rangers could get in touch with what's going on in the field. And plus you got members of the crew there, you got the camera people there, you got props there, you got the wranglers there, you got reenactors all around. And so this particular scene was shot. So what I'm going to do now is just show you exactly what happened. This scene was shot at the end of the day on the actual battlefield, and we're burning daylight. So it has to be done soon. 1 or 2 takes the most. That's it. And let's not forget, Martin Sheen had not been on a horse in 11 years. Here we go. Martin Sheen, General Lee, Tom Berenger, and James Longstreet running side by side. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to count from 5 to 10. When I hit 10, both horses have to stop exactly at the same time. Here we go. Y'all remember the scene? Okay, here we go. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Tom Berenger stops. 11, 12, 13, 14. Martin Sheen could not stop his horse. Okay, so we got to go back again. And don't forget, it's getting late, ladies and gentlemen. All right, it's getting late. So we got to do it again.
There is no time.
Here we go. You're right about that. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to do it again. 6 to 10, and he has to do it. I mean, it really is. We're burning daylight. This is going to be it. Here we go. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Berenger stops. 11, 12, 14. He still couldn't stop the horse. Everybody's getting so frustrated. And Ron's ready to send everybody home. But Martin is very religious. He says a prayer. Oh, Lord, please stop the horse. Here we go. This is it, ladies and gentlemen. It has to be done now. If not, we got to do it the next day. And all this footage will be wasted. And like I said, you got the crew here. You got reenactors here. You got all these things. This is it, ladies and gentlemen. It has to be done right now. Let's see if those prayers work. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Berenger's horse stopped. Martin Sheen's horse stopped. But the phone rings. Ring, ring, ring. A reenactor picks up the phone. It's Jeb Stewart. He says he's going to be a little late. instead. Well, we had to do it the next day and it worked out. So the next time you see that footage on your DVD or whatever, just remember everything that goes into making a film, especially with someone who hadn't been on a horse in 11 years, okay? Next slide, please. Here we go. Remember this, the morning of the second day when General Lee is conferring with the generals about taking Little Round Top? Remember that scene? One of the scenes that yours truly is in over on the side. So, as I said, you gotta give Martin some slack because this was one of the very early scenes that we shot. He's dyslexic, doesn't get his lines totally down right away. So, here we go. This is the line that General Lee has to say. Well, she will attack with the First Corps and Hill will support. Okay, that's what he has to say. Don't forget, I'm at the end of the table. Well, she will attack the First Corps and Hill better be there or else we're in big trouble. Oops. All right, here we go again. Give some slack. I mean, after all, right? All she will attack with the First Corps. Cut. Okay, we got to do it again. And you know, people get a little frustrated now. They think he'll get it down this time. All right, third time's a charm. All she will attack at the First Corps, and Hill better be there. Or else we're in trouble. Cut. All right, Ron Maxwell knows Martin's having trouble, so he figures we'll break for lunch. Martin will go back to his trailer and relearn his lines. So everybody leaves, and I'm one of the last ones to leave because, you know, don't forget, not only am I A.P. Hill, but I'm also a historical advisor on the set. I'm one of the last ones to leave. So I'm going, but Martin didn't leave yet. I see Martin. If everybody leaves, he gets a pencil, and on the map he writes, Hill will support. All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Next, here we're back from lunch, and everybody's saying, "Oh, please." All three will attack with the First Corps, and Hill will support. You got it. Next time you go home and you put your DVD on and you see that scene with the map and they got a close-up of the map, you press your pause button, okay? And you'll see on the map, Hill will support. It's right there, ladies and gentlemen. It is there. Who knows? It might have happened during the real battle. You never know. Next. Where are we now? Oh, this was great. We shot practically every day. We were off one day. We were off on Sundays. So everybody did their laundry on Sundays, okay? But every Saturday night, we're at the Farnsworth Tavern. All right. So if it's going to rain, you're going to do an interior. There was one particular day where a scene takes place. It never made the final cut that was in the theaters, because in the theaters, 4 hours and 14 minutes. But there's an extra edition, a director's cut of the movie. And so there's a scene that takes place the evening of the first day with General Hill, General Rhodes, General Early, and General Ewell. And of course, with Robert E. Lee. So we're going to shoot that scene. But it's rainy that day, so we're shooting the interior. I got my umbrella. Martin has his umbrella, and he was telling us stories about him in Shakespearean productions, particularly Romeo and Juliet, which he did in Central Park at the Delacorte Theater years ago. I'm an actor. I've been to acting schools. I've been to fencing schools. And so General Hill challenged General Lee to a duel with our umbrellas. So that's one of the biggest thrills of my life on the set we were making the movie. Actually fencing with Martin Sheen right there on the set. That was a big thrill. Next.
There's Brian.
Some of the historians working on the set. I worked on it more than anybody else, 5 years before we just started filming. And then on board, we got Brian Bohanka, we got Dale Fetzer. And so this is a shot of the historians during the making of The Killer Angels. Next. How many people like Tom Berenger's General Longstreet? All right, Tom is great. He loves history. Tom had an opportunity of playing anybody in the film. He could have been General Lee, he could have been Colonel Chamberlain, but he decided to go with General Longstreet. At the time, Tom lived down there in South Carolina, and as I said, Longstreet is from that area, so he kind of had a connection with General Longstreet. Now, there's one little rap about Tom Berenger. When people look at the movie, what could it be? Huh? Did I hear something? What could it be? Beard. What could it be? The beard, right? People have a problem with Tom's beard. Well, I'll tell you right now, ladies and gentlemen, when we were filming, what were we filming? A TV production, right? If you look at it on a small screen, it's okay. But when Ted Turner decided to go big screen, then it really was noticeable. But a lot of footage had already been shot. And unfortunately, when we released the movie in the theaters, some scenes had to actually be cut. But like I said, Tom did a magnificent performance as General Longstreet, really did. Matter of fact, he got into the character so much that after the filming and everything, he opened up a restaurant down in Beaufort, South Carolina called General Longstreet's. And he would, collect memorabilia, etc. But he was great. But don't knock him for the beard, because we all couldn't have real beards. I had a real beard. Patrick Borman had a real beard. Stephen Lang had a real beard. But the movie that Tom did prior to The Killer Angels was Sniper, where he had to be really clean, cut and everything. But he's a great guy, and like I said, because of him, I got the movie Rough Riders. So I got to hand it to him. But the funny thing about it is that, speaking about Tom, is that several months after the filming, Martin Sheen and his wife came to New York, and he called up me and my wife to have dinner. And so we were talking about the filming, and Tom's beard came up. And so we were filming The Killer Angels. Martin Sheen said they should change the name to The Killer Beards. Next, please. Okay, here we go. Patrick Gorman's General Hood. How many people like Patrick Gorman's General Hood? Okay, now let me tell you about him. Active in a long film, many, many years, done a lot of westerns. He did back in the old days, he played a fencing teacher on Happy Days. I mean, that's how far Patrick goes back. He's also in Rough Riders, but he was in Wild Bill. I mean, so many, productions and stuff, but he really wanted to get the character. He wanted to show what happened to General Hood. Now, y'all know General Hood gets wounded on the second day of the Battle of Gettysburg. And so he's brought to the hospital. And what's the line that he keeps saying?
Should have gone to the right.
Should have gone to the right. Correct. Now, I want you to know something. What he did to show the pain of him being wounded, he got a rock. He got a rock. It's very pointy. He put it in his underwear. So it should have gone to the right. He was leaning on that rock on the right side. Yeah, Ouch is right. Actors have so many ways of working. Whatever works for them, you go with it. Next.
Hey, Pat, just a quick note. In that scene there,
Yes.
you didn't see me. I was on the table to his left.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Which cheek did you have your rock on?
both of them.
Next, please. Oh, my favorite scene in the movie that wasn't supposed to be in the movie. This is magnificent. I love this scene. It's not in the book. It's not in the screenplay. What happened was that morning, Martin Sheen is doing an interview for Entertainment Tonight. And so there he is, with his Robert E. Lee outfit on and his beard and the hair and the whole bit and everything. Then they got traveler on the side, for filming purposes. So what he decided to do was just to ride down on the set to go back to his trailer and change. Well, that afternoon, he decides to ride down, and all of a sudden, the reenactors start going, Lee, Lee, Lee. It wasn't supposed to happen. It's spontaneous. But when you see that, you see the love that the reenactors had for Martin, you would see Martin's expression on his face. Matter of fact, go to the next slide, please. His facial expression. This is truly what it must have been like back during the war. The love that the men had for Lee and what Lee felt for the men. It was just something special that Ron Maxwell decided to use this footage in the film. And it's my favorite scene in the entire production because it wasn't supposed to happen. It was destiny. So it was something special. Next. Oh, that's me, Ted, and Jane Fonda. Let me tell you about Ted. Ted is like a kid in a candy store. Ted's putting up all this money to do the Killer Angels. Ted wants to be in the Killer Angels. Ted wants to be a Confederate in the Killer Angels. Ted wants to die in Pickett's charge. So I had to find a character for him. Colonel Patton of the 7th Virginia Regiment. All right. So now, the day before Ted's supposed to do his scene, we all meet at the Dobbin House. You all familiar with the Dobbin House in Gettysburg? Okay. So all of us, we get cleaned up because we were at the set all day long. And so we go to the Dobbin House and then just like a little line to meet Mr. Turner. And so when it's my turn, I go up to Mr. Turner. My name is Patrick Falci. I'm portraying General Hill. Oh, you could call me Colonel Patton. So for the next 20 seconds, it's basically General Hill, Colonel Patton, General Hill, Colonel Patton, going back and forth. I'll see you on the set tomorrow, Colonel Patton, and then, somebody else. But then when I'm walking by, I'm there with Jane Fonda. And if she says to me, you see him there in that uniform? He's been sleeping in it for the last 2 weeks to get that crumpled look. And that beard, I can't stand it. It's so scraggly. Yes, Miss Fonda, I'll see you on the set tomorrow. Nice talking to you. And then that was that. Here we are the next day, ladies and gentlemen. Next slide. Ted Turner. He has a scene where he has to come out and do, if you remember the movie, he comes out and then here he is. And say, let's go men. And then he gets shot. Well, first of all, before the scene, Ted looks behind him. He doesn't see men, he sees boys. So right then and there, he changes the line. Let's go, boys. So this is all he has to do. He has to come out there. Say, let's go, boys. He gets shot. He goes down. That's it, right? That's his bit. Well, Ron's ready to do a rehearsal. And so Ted looks at Ron and says, rehearsal? Why do I have to have a rehearsal? I know how to die. I've seen movies all my life. Errol Flynn, they died with their boots on. And so Ron says, look, I know you know what you're doing, but this is for the crew. This is so the cameramen get the right angle. This is so the sound gets everything picked up. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to do a rehearsal. Let's go, boys. You get shot, you go down, and that's it. All right, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Rehearsal. Let's go, boys. Now, do I go down now? So Ron says, yes, Ted, you got to go down now. This is it. When the shot goes off, you go down. This is it. All right. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Take one. Let's go, boys. Ron Maxwell says, Ted, you did a little bit too much. You got to tone it down. And I go to Jane Fonda. Miss Fonda, didn't you give your husband some acting lessons? I mean, after all. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to do it again. Take two. Let's go, boys. Cut. Well, I want you to know, ladies and gentlemen, ever since then, Ted Turner has been known as Two Take Ted. Two Take Ted. So we got the footage down, so when you see him in that, you know, 2 takes. All right, next slide, please. Oh, this is magnificent. Ricky, you probably remember this, when all the artillery or the cannons going off. I mean, they're not firing real, projectiles or anything, the artillery, but it was magnificent with all the smoke that was going on and then the cannon fire and everything. That was magnificent. Just imagine what it was really like back in 1863, July 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. And it was well done. I got to hand it to all the like I said, this movie could not have been made without the reenactors, the cavalry, the artillery, the infantry. They were magnificent. Next. And as you well know, war means fighting. Fighting means killing. That includes the animals. Unfortunately, well over 5,000 horses were killed during the Battle of Gettysburg. And, we had to litter the field with horses. Of course, this is not a real horse, ladies and gentlemen. This is one of the dummy horses, all right? But throughout the course of filming, 12 weeks and everything, they get messed up. They get, nicked and so forth. So this particular horse had to be repaired for the next day. So our prop man, Kelly, decides to take the horse back to his motel room that night. Yeah. So he's working on it in his bed. That morning, he decides to go out and have an early breakfast before going to the set. Cleaning lady happens to come by. Opens the door, sees a dead horse in the bed. Nobody was hurt, okay? Cleaning lady got a good tip, and then everything was fine. But I'm just saying, anything could happen on the movie set. So, one of the stars of the production, that horse. All right. Okay, next. Oh. How many people like Stephen Lang as General Pickett? He's probably one of our greatest actors, really. You've seen him in Tombstone. You've seen him in the latest Avatar movies. I mean, he is magnificent. You got to see him on the stage. There's one particular production that he's been traveling the country with when he has time. It's called Beyond Glory.
It's excellent.
He portrays 8 different recipients of the Medal of Honor. Everyone is completely different. I mean, he changes himself so much, his body, his facial. I mean, he is probably one of the greatest actors that we have today. Now, let me tell you how he got the role. Pickett. Early of 1992, before the Pickett character was chosen, which actor, David is in a production of Hamlet in New York. Ron Maxwell finds out. So Ron Maxwell decides to see the production of Hamlet. Stephen Lang gets tipped off that Ron Maxwell, who's about to shoot The Killer Angels, is coming by to see him. So the production is over. So Ron Maxwell decides to go backstage and go to the dressing room of Stephen Lang. So Ron Maxwell is walking down this corridor, and there's Stephen Lang standing there. And Ron Maxwell is getting closer and closer and closer. And Ron Maxwell is basically right in front of Stephen Lang. And Stephen Lang says, "I'm your Pickett." He got the role. He got the role by just saying that. I mean, fortune favors the bold, and he got it. He was magnificent as General Pickett. He was great as General Jackson in Guys and Generals. And like I said, if you ever have an opportunity of seeing anything that Stephen Lang does, go. Okay, next, please. Richard Jordan. Richard Jordan, great actor. He's been in many Shakespearean productions in New York. He's worked with John Wayne and Rooster Cogburn. He's been in so many productions. And like I said, great actor, very good friend of Ron Maxwell. Very good friend. We would get together at Ron Maxwell's apartment. We would, have dinner together, talk about screenplay, talk about The Killer Angels, etc. We had one little difference of opinion, though, because We all know what Louis Armistead looked like. He was bald, right, and he had a beard. Richard did not want to have to wear a skull cap or a beard. But then talking with me, talking with other members of the cast, talking with Ron Maxwell, etc. So what Richard decided to do was have the beard, and instead of wearing a skull cap, which he didn't want to do, he basically parted his hair in the middle and combed the back. But magnificent, really very good actor, and like I said, he added so much. Probably one of the best performances in the movie. Next, as I said, could not be made without the reenactors. If you're probably there, Ricky, on one particular time when we were supposed to film Pickett's Charge on the actual battlefield. Okay, we were given 2 days to do it, Pickett's Charge, and then on one particular day, the first day that we were supposed to shoot that, we had the Confederates ready to go across the field, and it was such a cloudy, overcast day. And reenactors are really not familiar working on a movie. Basically, if you're like, hurry up and wait. But when the time comes, they go. So what happened was that when the time came, going across the field, they go halfway across the field and cut. Okay, then they got to go back. And then we had 8 cameras going at this time. Matter of fact, we had members of the crew dressed as Confederates. We had a crane. We had a helicopter. I mean, we had different angles, 8 cameras going just to shoot this. So another time, reenactors are going across the field. Cut. Okay, they did it. Another time, because Ron wanted to get every single angle as possible. So the third time, the reenactors are going across the field. He yells, cut. They don't stop. They keep on going. They got to the Gettysburg Road and kept on going. It was magnificent because they had the passion. Many of them had ancestors who fought on that battlefield. Like I said, this movie could not have been made without the reenactment, but it was just magnificent. So, I mean, we had 5,000 reenactors work on this production. It was amazing. It was amazing. And with those different camera angles. And then when you see the movie, you see them coming out of the tree line, that's a set. And then at one point, you see a wide shot and the music starts bellowing. That's when you actually see the reenactors on the real battlefield. It was something special. Something like this will probably never happen again. Next. When I'm not General Hill, I'm a historian, so I'm up on the ladder, making sure that the regiments are in alignment. And so that was my job. I'm working every day, ladies and gentlemen. But every Saturday night, we all went to the Farnsworth Tavern and hoisted a view. Okay. Next slide. As I said, Richard was magnificent. And the thing about it is that he was such a good friend with Ron Maxwell that when Ron was editing the movie, because the movie came out in October of '93. And so around August, Ron Maxwell was doing the final editing. He finds out something about Richard. You see, when we were filming the movie, Richard was complaining about a sore throat. One particular day, we had to take him to the hospital. He came back and he started, doing his scenes and everything. But little did we know what the true ailment was. I don't know if there's a connection or whatever. But when Ron was editing the final scene with Louis Armistead, when he's mortally wounded, Ron finds out that Richard had just died from a brain tumor. Very sad, very sad. So that's why when you see the end credits, this film is dedicated to the memory of Michael Shara and Richard Jordan. It's ironic because the next movie Richard was supposed to do was The Fugitive with Harrison Ford, right? And Richard was supposed to have the role of Tommy Lee Jones, one of the best supporting actor. But he'll always be remembered. And like I said, it is a true final performance for Richard Jordan in Gettysburg. Next, please. Oh, this scene, if you remember, after Pickett's Charge, Longstreet wants to go out and meet the enemy because he figures there's going to be a counterattack. Well, in the book, in the script, Longstreet gets on his horse and he has a rifle with him and he's going to go meet the enemy. Right before the scene, I went up to Ron Maxwell and said, I don't think so. I don't think Longstreet, a lieutenant general, is going to grab a rifle and go into the enemy. I don't think so at all. And so you got to remember the safety of the actors. That's got to be number one. So Ron says, we're gonna do it exactly the way it's in the screenplay, in the script. Okay, well, luckily, we get behind filming, and so the next day, we're ready to shoot the scene, and Ron comes up to me and he says, you know, you're right. We got to think about safety of that, because Tom Berenger is too valuable. Something might happen to the horse, he might scoop, and then don't forget, all this stuff's coming up. That's not rocks or anything, that's cork. That's cork that's going up. But anything could happen. The horse could, you know, go out of control, Tom could fall off, get hurt. You know, he's an excellent horseman, I'll tell you right now. So, but that particular scene happened. Like I said, we did as much as possible, and you're not gonna see any of these special effects that they have in the movies today. This is the real deal, the filming, the Killer Angels. Next. Okay, what happened was that when all the Confederates ended up shooting, we all had a little party at the Herd Tavern. That's Martin without his beard, his wig, etc. And then that's his wife Janet, and that's his brother behind him right there. And so there's yours truly there, and with the real beard. Okay, much darker back then than today, 30 years. Okay, but the thing about it is, when the movie comes out, is it known as the Killer Angels? No, Gettysburg. Why? Because Ted Turner, the marketing genius that he is, decided that, gee, Killer Angels, what is that going to remind people of? Hell's Angels on wheels, motorcycles, Jack Nicholson, right? So he decides to go with Gettysburg. People know Gettysburg. People, you know, who have a chance of not knowing that much about the Civil War, or at least heard of Gettysburg. This film goes out to Europe, which it did. It got very good reviews in Europe. Gettysburg, people will know. So when you see the movie, it's Gettysburg, based on the Pulitzer Prize winning novel, The Killer Angels. But there was magnificent working on it. This is our big anniversary year. I hope you know, y'all get the chance to go to Gettysburg again and also see the movie. And so now we come full circle, ladies and gentlemen. We started with the Killer Angels, and then we went to the Killer Beards, and now here we are at Gettysburg, and I thank you very much. Does anybody have any questions about the movie or anything like that? All right, who wants to be number one? Yes, sir.
A couple of friends of mine, extras in Pickett's Charge,
Yes,
and they told me, you know, the back and forth thing,
yeah,
but they said when they finally started across, hot day, and they said they went into a low area crossing the field, and all of a sudden the temperature went down about 25 or 30 degrees. They said it was spooky as hell.
oh, sure, because, I mean,
I
when
don't
you
know
walk
if you
that
heard
field,
that story before.
most people that, you know, that haven't been to the battlefield, they say, oh, Pickett's Charge, what are they, crazy, just going across an open field? No. There are swells.
Yeah.
You go in and you reorganize and go in, but that happens. That'll happen. Actually, you're absolutely right about that. It is spooky. I mean, you know, people say the battlefield is haunted, but the reenactors, it meant so much to them to be part of this production. It's something that they'll always remember. Yes?
Yeah, I've been to Gettysburg hundreds of times, and but only in the last year did I stumble across the Farnsworth Tavern and that fabulous collection of the.
Oh, yeah, and the tavern, yeah, everybody donated pieces of the uniform.
And I thought there might be other people who haven't seen that yet. Next time you're in Gettysburg, go to the Farnsworth Tavern, not the Farnsworth House.
No, the tavern down below. And you see Martin Sheen's uniform, you see General Bubert's, you see Sam Elliott's uniform, you see Stephen Lang's. And being that I knew I would continue on as A.P. Hill, I gave a little piece of my red battle shirt in a frame. So if you go there, you're going to see a little frame there with the red in it. That's part of my battle shirt that's on display at the Farnsworth Tavern. You're absolutely right. And back in the day, they used to have menus, and on the back of the menu, they would have the numbers with the uniforms. Yes.
He wants to know whose idea it was to do that.
Lawrence Schultz, who's the owner of the Farnsworth. he decided, because we all would meet there. We would meet there on Saturday nights when we were filming. The union, so just the reenactors, they would meet there also, when they were there filming. So if you go there today, not only are you going to see the big display of a lot of our uniforms on display there, but you're also going to see posters that all of us signed. You see one section there with the Confederates, the actors, etc. And then, some side with the Union. So definitely go there. And they usually have they show the movie there also in there because they get the monitor up. And you walk in there, you're gonna hear the music, which is magnificent. Randy Edelman did a magnificent job with the music. Over the course of time, you've heard that music on the Olympics, on sports programs. I mean, if there anything about, Oscar nominations or something like that, that's another thing. This was originally made for television. If it was meant to be put on the big screen, which it actually was from the very beginning, I think there would have been nominations for some of the actors, for some of the technicians, absolutely. For this epic, it was really something special.
The Cashtown Inn used to have photos. From.
Yeah, that was the owners. Well,
They were closed for a while.
Carol and Bud Buckley, Matt, they were the owners of the Cashtown Inn when we filmed. Matter of fact, there's a little shot of them standing on the steps there during the scene that I'm in. And then when they decided to sell the place, they took a few souvenirs of their own. No, I don't think they took Sam Malia's sheets. But then the new owners there, they decided to change things around, and they were Civil War people, so they started taking stuff away. And then now I understand there are even newer, people. I haven't met them yet. So, but if you have an opportunity, go to the Cashtown, and it was a great dinner. It was a great place to sleep and just to go there because it actually is part of history. And they say that, more Confederate generals probably stayed there than any other house during the war. Really. Yes.
I have a comment and a question.
And where's your horse?
I can remember in the artillery scene there,
Yes.
Charlie Gutzoll from Lancaster was the mayor. And he loaned 12 cannons to be used for that movie making. And when he did a program, we asked him this question.
Yes.
What did you get paid for loaning those 12 guns? And he said he got paid in cash. And the next day he went out and bought himself a brand new Suburban truck. And his wife got a diamond necklace. So my question is, what kind of compensation did you get? Without really revealing, what did you get paid a lot?
I'm not gonna tell you what I got, but I'm a member of the Screen Actors Guild. Okay, so I had a contract dealing with Screen Actors Guild, what I would get when I was playing A.P. Hill. I was also there as historical advisor. Okay, so I was taken care of somewhat on the filming and everything because I was worked on it for 5 years prior to the filming. But for the reenactors, they're not members of Screen Actors Guild.
Right.
So what they made the deal with Ted Turner was that money for preservation, and also certain money would go to the units. You couldn't pay the reenactors individually, so certain units, the units got the money.
Yep.
So that's why at the end of the production, when you stay for the credits that go on and on and on, they'll list the different units. And I'm one of the very few that gets 2 credits. I'll get Lieutenant General Ambrose Powell Hill to say Patrick Falci. Credits will go on, and then you'll say historical advisor to say Pat Falci. They just broke it up. But that was the story because it ended up being a $20 million production. I mean, that's relatively nothing compared to a lot of these movies today with the big budgets and stuff.
So did you as actors eat different breakfasts compared to the?
No, we all ate in this tent, a large tent. As a matter of fact, there was a tent city for the reenactors there, but everybody was taken care of. We had the craft service there, so you would eat there, and they would provide food for us. So I'd be sitting there, and Berenger would be there, Sam Elliott would be there, and then reenactors would be there. I mean, Ricky knows. I mean, we all ate together. Yeah, that's one thing. You eat well on the set of a movie. You do that.
Well, I heard that the reenactors got something different than the actors.
No, we all
For
got
breakfast.
the same. Now maybe being that the reenactors stayed in their tent city because a lot of times they had to reform and get on the set, then they would provide their own food
Okay.
and then get to the set and then go on. But if
That
you
makes
are
sense
actually
now.
on the set itself, don't forget, we're on location. So we may be someplace and our headquarters might be, you know, a mile or two away. So you're not gonna go back and forth, because, you know, like, there is no time to do that. Yes, sir, all the way in the back. I need to get you, you're next. Yes, sir.
You, of course, did this magnificently from the southern perspective as the technical advisor in Bayview Hill. Did you have a counterpart who,
Brian Hankin.
and is he still with us?
No, he passed away years ago.
He died during the film of Gods in General.
Yeah, he, right at the filming Gods and Generals, he passed away, you know, he had cancer.
You did it.
But I worked on it for 5 years, and then when we started, prior to filming, then Brian was hired. And then, Dale Fetzer, who coordinated many of the battle scenes, he was brought along too. But I was senior historian on this production. But like I said, Brian kept a clear eye, so to speak, as General Buford would say, on the Yankee side, and I was there for the Confederate side.
Great job.
Yes, Ricky,
Tell
thank you.
him what part that brought who he portrayed.
Oh, Brian Verhagen, he portrayed General Webb. Okay. At the very end of the movie, you know, when they're collecting all the swords from the Confederates, he's there holding the swords and he goes like this.
That's
Remember? Yeah, that's Brian Verhagen. Yes. Yes, sir.
I got a question. I read somewhere, I think online, say Elliot playing Buford.
Ah,
Was there a bit of controversy where he wanted to play something else, and then there was another actor or something? Problem with another actor said if he doesn't play Buford, or if he wants to play this, I'm not gonna be in the movie.
I didn't hear anything about that about Sam. No.
I mean, it wasn't, I just read, so I didn't know it was Wikipedia or was that filming.
it. Answers that one.
I didn't hear it, but there are deals that are made by agents about you take this actor, you have to take that actor. You know, there are certain deals that are made. And so, you know, it just goes along. Certain actors were asked to portray Billy Campbell. Okay, Billy Campbell was originally asked to play Jeff Stewart. I love Billy Campbell. He's a good man and everything, but the way he works as an actor, he looks at a script. He counts lines. This was told to us by Stephen Lang, very good friends. Billy Campbell will count lines in the script. Billy Campbell ended up portraying Pitzer. Remember Pitzer? No, but Pitzer has more lines than Jeff Stewart. He comes at the end and where he wants the Maine, the Chamberlain's Maine unit, the 20th Maine, to go to Big Round Top. All right, go to Big Round Top and then go to the middle of the line. Okay, yeah, that's fit. He has more lines. The Joseph Bourgois, who had never been on a horse before, I had to sit with him the night before at the Farnsworth, matter of fact, and give him a, whole history of Jeff Stewart in a nutshell, basically. And, it's just that, at last minute you get actors in there and then certain actors work in different ways, like you saw about Patrick Gorman with the Rock and Sam Elliott with the Dirt. Every actor, like my uniform is a replica of one of the uniforms I know A.P. Hill wore during the war. Okay, I knew I would continue on as General Hill. I am known in the Civil War community as General Hill. So I still have that uniform and I still make, appearances, doing programs with that uniform.
Do you have anything to say about Buck Taylor?
Oh,
Newly.
Buck was great.
Yeah.
I worked with Buck, who played Colonel Gamble in Gettysburg. And he also was in the movie Rough Riders. Buck is a great guy. And he's been in so many Westerns. His father's Doug Taylor.
Yeah.
Character actor in many Westerns. That's like if you've seen Bonnie and Clyde, he played the father in that one of Michael J. Pollard. And then a great role, but Doug Taylor and then Buck has been around for many years. We're very good friends. If I go to Texas, I'm happy to speak at the Dallas Civil War Roundtable. And if there's time, my wife and I, some years ago, we ended up going to the Dallas State Fair. Buck was there. He's an artist too.
Yeah.
Go on the internet, check Buck Taylor art. Great guy. Yeah, Buck Taylor. Ladies first.
Consider this the highlight of your career. You just seem so wonderful.
Oh, you're not so bad yourself. Thank you. just fun and dear. Just fun and dear.
Don't give up the sword.
The highlight of my career, if you really want to know, this is one of the greatest moments of my life besides marrying my wife. Okay, you like that answer, huh?
Please.
Okay, good answer.
Good thing.
But if you really want to know the highlight of my life, it happened, my career, okay? It happened in January, this past January. I don't know if you heard about this, you know, many of the monuments are coming down. A.P. Hill's monument finally came down. He was buried under that monument. I've been portraying General Hill for a little over 30 years. I don't want to toot my horn, but I'm one of the leading authorities on General Hill, all right? It was time when the team director and John Hill is the closest collateral descendant of A.P. Hill. They went to retrieve the body, okay? They took the monument down on December the 12th. December 13th, which happened to have been the 130th anniversary of Battle of Fredericksburg, they wanted to locate the remains of A.P. Hill. They tried to get in touch with a lot of the museums. They didn't know. They got in touch with me. I was the only one who knew exactly where the remains of A.P. Hill were. They went over there, recovered the remains, and so they decided to bury A.P. Hill for the 4th time. This would be his 4th burial. Those previous burials, he never had any military honors at all. So finally, on January the 21st, which happened to have been Stonewall Jackson's birthday, he was reburied in Culpeper, Fairview Cemetery. The family asked me to give the eulogy for A.P. Hill. They wanted me to go 20 minutes. Well, ladies and gentlemen, A.P. Hill is so close, you know, to my heart. And I went a half an hour, you know. But the thing about it is that I was so full of emotion. They did it the right way. There were between 600 and 1,000 people there. They had him in a horse-drawn cart. They had a riderless horse there with the boots on backwards. And when I'm doing my eulogy, at one particular point, when I'm mentioning of Robert E. Lee's last words, among his last words was, tell A.P. Hill, he must come up. That horse whinnied. It was like A.P. Hill was right there watching over us. After the whole ceremony was over, the flag, it was a Virginia flag that was over the casket of A.P. Hill. The family folded up that flag and presented it to me. I have the actual flag that was over A.P. Hill's casket. And so I'll treasure that, you know, for the rest of my life. So that's my career as A.P. Hill. But I just want to say something. I know it's getting late here. It's the passion that we have, the passion that everybody has in this room about the Civil War, war between the states, whatever you want to call it. Those who came before us made us truly who we are today. And this is the last story I'm going to tell you. All right, it's about passion. Very last story. Maybe about 20 years ago, 25 years ago, my wife and I were in Gettysburg, and this gentleman came up to us, and he goes to me, Mr. Falci, I am so sorry. Please forgive me. Excuse me? Please, Mr. Falci, take it easy. You all right? Yes, it was my ancestor, Corporal John Mark, who killed A.P. Hill.
Oh,
Wow.
No, it's not your fault. It's part of history. It's what happened. A couple of weeks later, I received a letter. I still have the letter at home, a letter of apology for what his ancestor did to A.P. Hill. But it's the passion that he has, and it's the passion that everybody has in this room. And so I just want to say thank you so much for inviting me. And I truly want to say this is one of the highlights for me. I salute you. Thank you very much.
Well, I want to ask a question before you go. How many of you want him back again? Raise your hand. Well, I've got him booked already. And I got the,
Audition, ladies and gentlemen. This is my audition for you.
yeah, and I got the, he had 6 programs. Ricky wanted 1 program, and I said, no, I'm the program chairman. I get to pick the program. Okay.
I cut his
What's
pay in half.
one called, right?
The picture that I gave, Tom over here, who told me about all the horses that he had at home, little did I know he was talking about the engine in his car or the horsepower. It is called Saddle Up to General Hill, famous generals and their war horses. And as a bonus, I am going to talk about famous Hollywood horses and the actors who rode them. So that's what you're going to get next time, ladies and gentlemen.
And then we'll have him back the following year to do AP Hill. And then the following year, we'll have him come back again
He'll be
with
okay.
the conflict between AP Hill
Stonewall Jackson.
and Stonewall Jackson.
Am I moving in with you?
No, I got one foot in the grave here already. I don't know if I'll be around in 4 years, but anyhow,
Yes.
let's show our appreciation. First of all,
Oh, well,
here's the cat. See, you wear cats, so,
I do.
okay?
Sorry, it's not gray.
Here's one of our- Remember the employees,
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
and then a little certificate,
Thank you.
and then here's your compensation.
Thank you.
Let's give Pat a real.
Thank you so much for inviting me. Tomorrow, Joan and I are going to spend time with their family in Langwood, Pennsylvania, and then dealing with Saddle Up with General Hill. Saturday night, we are going to Salem, New Jersey at the very tip, and we're going to the Cowtown Rodeo.
Been
So
there.
Saturday, I want you to
We used to live down
it's
Country Town.
the National Day of the American Cowboy. So I have a toast to all the cowboys that you know, you the Dallas Cowboys. Okay, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
Okay, I want to thank everybody. Just a quick note. If you're new here and want to be put on our email list, I have a piece of paper. If you write it down, the one thing about the email list, it goes to nobody. It stays within house. And next month, we're gonna have Jason Ditz. He's gonna be talking about the Army Medical Department. So thank you all for coming, and we'll see you all next month.
Get my question.
Oh, sure.
Guys.